fantastic. So let me start by sharing my screen and then we can get into it. So I just want to position us again where we are and what the purpose is today. So we have done the first, second, and third training session already, and today we will be focusing on approval of a component methodology. So we've got 2 more sessions left following this training session, which will be also a practical session on the platform talking about validation of a project, and then lastly the verification of a monitoring report. So for today, we will be starting, I'll show you how to view a component methodology, how to download it. We'll talk a bit about component methodology compatibilities. And then importantly, I will show you an example project and how and why that's handy for or during the component methodology approval. And all of this will happen on the platform. So I'll take you through it step by step.
Serena,
yes.
Just wondering if you can change your screen. We can see the next slides. So you may need to duplicate screen just to make it a bit bigger.
Okay, hang on 1 second. Swap displays. Does that work?
Perfect.
Aha, okay. I've got the hazards and benefits of 2 screens. Okay, so I just wanted to again remind everybody where in the process we are, because we have now different processes for approval of component methodologies, project validation, and project verification. So for today, we assume that a methodology owner has composed and compiled a new component methodology on the ICS platform, and that this has gone through the Environmental Integrity Committee, and they have recommended it for audit. At this point, the methodology owner will appoint an accredited auditor, and here is where we then end up. And this is where we are going to get into the platform. Once, I will show you this on the platform as well, but once this step is completed, the methodology is also posted for public comments. And then after that, when the public comments have been addressed and the auditor is complete with their auditing process, they click submit, and then it follows basically the administrative process. So I just wanted to position us on that for the moment. I'm going to quickly just stop and get into the platform just to remind everybody. The URL here is inclusivecarbon.org, and if you then click on the platform registration and login, it will take you straight to the platform. Okay. So please let me know if you do see the correct items here. You are seeing my screen, hopefully, everybody?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Fantastic. So from here, platform registration and login will take you straight to the ICS platform. I'll be working on the dev site as I'm not an auditor. So I'm not going to go through from that point, but I'll rather show you when you do click on the link to register, you will arrive here at the ICS platform. I'm already logged in, but you can just log in and find the screen over here. So as we are talking about a component methodology approval, we are going to look at, as an auditor, we can navigate here to methodologies that require approval. There is also, as Kenneth explained to us on Tuesday, this methodologies tab here, which contains a full methodology directory that is also seen in the public view. But as an auditor, you would want to go to either your audit dashboard. So there are multiple ways of navigating to the same item. So on the auditor dashboard, you will see validation audits, and you can go and view the full list, the latest verification audits, or the latest methodology approvals. So from the auditor dashboard, if I click view all, it will basically take me to this page. So just another way to also navigate there to see the full list of methodologies, component methodology approvals. And here you will also see the audit status, so whether it's in draft, if it's already been approved for registration, whether it's been sent back for revision. So this is a nice summary showing all the component methodology audits that this audit company has been appointed to work on. So as a first item, we spoke about viewing a component methodology. So I'm going to use this project over here, which is a solar PV project. And you simply click on the actions here, and you can see there are a number of things that we can do. We can get into the review, which I'll go into in a moment. And this is basically now starting the audit process. You can view the component methodology to get an overview of what it looks like, or you can also download it. And this is really just based on your preference. Do you prefer viewing this component methodology in the PDF format, or do you prefer viewing it online? So let me show you both methods here. If we say we view the component methodology on the platform, you will find the full description, compatibility. So this is another thing that the ICS methodology, component methodologies require the methodology creators to state what the compatibility of component methodologies are. Since the component methodologies are built such that it's a project description, additionality, baseline, monitoring, and tagging and leakage in other cases. Because they are built modularly and separately in this method, we need to also indicate how the different component methodologies are compatible with each other, because you will see later in a project, you will have to have 4 component methodologies to be able to fully describe and capture everything necessary to register a project as a project owner. So this is why the compatibility is important. As an auditor, when you are looking at a certain component methodology, in this case, we are now looking at the additionality component methodology for solar photovoltaics. When there is a stated compatibility, this is something that you would also need to check and confirm if these component methodologies are compatible, how they are compatible, and just also review if that is correct. So other information here, you can just see again the status, the version number, type and category, kind of more general information, and also when it was submitted. And then here you can click through to basically view the contents of this component methodology. So it's basically just a reflection. So there's no functionality here as an auditor when you view the component methodology. It's basically just what it says. It's just viewing. So you can find the example project here as well. So on every page, again, the platform tries to make it as easy for whether it's the auditor or the project owner or methodology creator, tries to make it as easy as possible to find and navigate to the various things that they need to do and that they need to work with. So this is the viewing on the platform. If we now go back to our component methodologies, we were looking at this one over here, and we say, let's download the component methodology. It will download it as a PDF, and you can open it. And this is the component methodology then in PDF format. So again, you'll see similar items appearing just in a different format now. I mean, some people like to print things out and, make notes on it. Other people like to do it online. It's really just a preference item for you. But you can see here again, just whatever was on the platform, this is what is reflected on the PDF as well. And when we are looking at a component methodology, it only gives, I always say, the recipe, so the method. So there's no data actually captured in the PDF yet. It is just giving you the framework, basically. So you can also look at the parameters and how they are described, what they entail. And similarly, let me just go down a bit, the equations as well. So here we get to the different equations. And again, very similar to what is actually on the platform. Okay, so let's look at when we actually now review the component methodology. There we go. So again, the structure is repeated, but this time you will see on the right-hand side here, these little green blocks that say review. And you can see here that something has already happened inside of these sections. And when we go into these, you can see here on the left-hand side, we will have the component methodology, the relevant section. In this case, we are looking at the component methodology setup. On the right-hand side, this is where you as an auditor have the opportunity to write some comments. So I've just pre-populated this section. So here are some comments. Change description wording. So a suggestion here on how to change the wording. Added the following. There's a little spelling error. Let's correct that while we are here. So this is really for the auditor to leave their comments. And then underneath the comment blocks here on the bottom right-hand corner, you can either click approved or rejected if there are corrective actions required. And you can say here, select the relevant action. So if we are saying it's approved, then most likely we will just select no action required. In the case that we reject it as an auditor, we will most likely say a corrective action is required. And we click save, and this is when it'll change the status over here. So similarly here on the monitoring plan, you will see again the monitoring plan structure. If I just go back to the PDF for 1 second, go back to my monitoring plan. There we go. So here's the monitoring plan, and over here you can see that exact same structure is repeated, and there's opportunity here to provide some comments. So whatever comments you feel is relevant, you add over there. And this just basically takes you through step by step each section. I'm reading this section, I'm going, okay, no, that's fine, it's approved, and the default is no action required. And then right at the bottom, there's also a section where you can write overall comments, because these items or the comments here on the right-hand side pertain to whatever is on the left-hand side, but there might be a gap or something that's completely missing that you feel should be included, or a complete change that's not really relevant to any of the items here on the left and right. So there is still a block, an opportunity here at the bottom to capture these comments and also provide that feedback over there. So when I then click save, you will see here our monitoring plan. We've got a rejected over there. And this is basically the approach that is followed all the way through, even when we get to the input parameters over here. And let me remind you here quickly what they look like in the PDF. So these are our parameters. So, and these are very, very similar to how they appear in other standards as well. And when we go and say review, you can see the name, description, all the information that really pertains to that particular parameter. Let's do that. And there you will see, okay, that parameter has been approved. So it's really just following this step by step until you get to the end. Now, once this process has been done and the public comment period has also lapsed, you will see this block here at the bottom appear. And this will say, it will ask you to attach your assurance statement and select the relevant outcome. So either completely rejected or sent back for revision, depending on what the type of comments were that were given above. If the component methodology is still out for public commenting and that 30-day period has not lapsed yet, this statement over here will say that public comments, it'll basically state the date until when it is open for public commenting. And this area underneath here, you won't have the ability to submit the audit just yet. That will only be activated once the public comments period has lapsed. I'm going to take a breath here and just ask if there are any questions or comments on at this point. Okay, and I will take silence as a no. The last thing I also want to show, if we are, let's go back to our methodology approvals, and we are working with this monitoring component methodology. The other important thing to look at is our example project, because the purpose of the example project is to demonstrate how the component methodology works and also how a compatible suite of component methodologies work together. So from here, we can say, view the example project. And here we can see we are now in the PV project with the number 35, and it's an example project. And here we can see our methodology appearing. This is the component methodology that we are busy auditing. And the other three compatible component methodologies that have been selected for the example project to demonstrate this component methodology. So from here, you can, again, there are two different ways to view this. On the previous page, there was a download the example project or view example project. So I'm in the view example project view now, and over here I'll continue to the project form, and it will again give me only a viewable online version of the PDF, which is this PDF here, which is the same project, and just viewing it in a different format, basically. So give a quick scroll through here. Again, here you can see this is our monitoring component methodology that we are reviewing, and the other 3 component methodologies that have been used to build this project. And now you can see in the example project, we actually have populated information. So we have some descriptions here, and the example projects can be real or fictional. It's just to kind of demonstrate how the component methodology works, and to make it easy to provide an understanding of the component methodology and working with other compatible component methodologies. So I'll just give a quick scroll through, and then we'll go back to the online version. So this is a very simple suite of component methodologies. But here we get to our component methodology, which is the monitoring component methodology, and we've got some populated data to really show whether it's sufficient or not, or at least it gives the auditor the ability to assess whether it's comprehensive enough or not. Okay, so, and again here on the platform, when you now go into, let's say, any answer section, again, you can view the same content that was on the PDF online, and it's just a different way of navigating and looking at the data. Now, the very last thing, when we are looking at our component methodology over here, we have looked at the component methodology, we have looked at how it's applied via a example project. And now if we go into review, right here at the top, also again, different ways to navigate to the component methodology in question, but also you can now download the auditor comments once you are completely done with the audit, or at any point, and you just want a quick reference to see what's been happening on this component methodology audit without going into each section individually. You can basically download that, the auditor comments, and this will give you a document that looks like this. It'll give you the audit outcome, and everything in red is basically the auditor comments that have been posted on the platform. So you can see when we scroll through here, you can see this is the overall section comment that we spoke about, and then the comments pertaining to each and every section. So this is a handy thing for the auditor to see, remind themselves maybe where in the process they are, or also for the component methodology creator to see what needs addressing, and where they need to action different maybe feedback or update of different items. So that really basically covers everything related to a component methodology audit. So again, I think we want to invite you to register on the platform and to get familiar with it, and to send us any feedback or comments or anything that you think we can improve on, or that you would like to see and that would make your life as an auditor easier. So yeah, I'm going to pause there and just again hear if there are any questions or any section that you would perhaps like me to repeat. I think we will again post the recording on the ICS website as well. So if you forgotten anything or at some point want to go back and check anything. And then I think maybe lastly, I just want to again remind everybody here on the governance tab about the documentation that you can also have a look at, because our different manuals and particularly the auditor manual also sits there that contains more detailed information about everything that's important to know regarding an auditor. Okay, so no questions, comments today. This is very quick. Okay, so we're going to let that settle in. And then next week, Tuesday, what you will probably find is that what you look at on the platform will look very similar, but it's important to kind of separate it, to remember that we are now in a different process. We'll be talking about a project validation then. So it'll be a bit similar, but definitely also different. So if you have questions or comments even or wants for that session, please don't hesitate to send them through to us. We'll try and pay attention to those in next week's session as well. Otherwise, if there aren't any questions or comments, I'm going to maybe stop the recording. And then, yeah, we'll see you hopefully all again next week.
Thanks, Serena. Cheers.
Thanks, Serena. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.